There is a wound you have never been able to name out loud, and tonight, I want to sit right next to it with you, before we say anything else. Because before I even open my mouth, before you scroll, before you decide whether to keep watching, I need you to feel that this moment is not casual. You did not stumble here. You did not land on this video because the algorithm was bored. You are here because there is something inside you that has been quietly bleeding for a long time, and heaven is finally putting words to it. And what I am about to tell you, beloved, is not a rumor. It is not speculation. It is not spiritual entertainment. One day ago, something shifted in the unseen. The person who used you, the one who took advantage of your softness, the one who studied your kindness, like it was a weakness they could farm, has been exposed in a place you cannot see yet. And tonight, I want to tell you what God has been doing while you were crying into your pillow, wondering if he forgot your name. Can I ask you something painful before we go further? When was the last time you cried without anyone knowing? When was the last time you smiled in a room while your soul was quietly breaking underneath the fabric of your clothes? When was the last time you gave someone the benefit of the doubt one more time, even though your discernment had already whispered the truth to you months ago? I am not asking to reopen the wound. I am asking because heaven has been recording it. Heaven has been counting every tear that fell into your hands when no one else was in the room. Heaven has been watching how you kept praying for people who were secretly using your name as a stepping stone. And tonight, one day after something invisible tilted in your favor, I need you to understand what you have really been carrying. You have been carrying a hidden grief, a grief you never got permission to feel out loud, because the person who used you did it so gently, so slowly, so cleverly, that even you began to doubt whether you had the right to be hurt. They wrapped their manipulation in familiarity. They wrapped their extraction in words like family, sister, brother, friend, partner, covering, mentor, loyal, ride or die. They spoke your language. They knew your triggers. They knew exactly which button to press to make you feel guilty for asking simple questions. And every time your spirit tried to warn you, they used your love against you. They used your loyalty against you. They used your faith against you. And you kept opening the same door because you thought closing it meant you were being unchristian, unkind, unforgiving, or too proud. Beloved, hear me clearly. Discernment is not pride. Distance is not sin. Silence is not bitterness. And what you have been calling overthinking, God has been calling the Holy Spirit, trying to reach you. I want you to breathe for a second before we go deeper, because I feel something in the atmosphere as I speak this. There is a heaviness lifting off a specific person right now, and if that is you, I need you to place your hand somewhere on your body, on your chest, on your stomach, on the side of your face, wherever the ache lives, and just let it be tender there for a moment. You have been strong for so long that you forgot what softness feels like, without punishment attached to it. You have been the strong one, the wise one, the deep one, the giving one, the one who always understood, the one who always forgave, the one who always went back one more time, and no one ever asked what it cost you. But God is asking tonight. God is asking, my child, who has been pouring back into you? God is asking, my child, who has been checking on the checker? God is asking, my child, who has been praying for the one who is always praying for everyone else? And if you cannot name a single person, then I want you to understand why heaven is moving on your behalf right now, without asking your permission. One day ago, something happened that you have not been told about yet. And I am not saying this to sound mysterious. I am saying it because the Spirit of God has a pattern. Before you see the exposure with your natural eyes, He handles it in the unseen. Before the news reaches your ears, He has already ruled in the courtroom of heaven. Before the truth walks out into the daylight, God pulls back the curtain in the private chambers where the plotting happened. And the person you have been quietly hoping would just do the right thing, the person you kept giving one more chance, the person you kept defending in rooms where people were already telling you the truth about them, that person has been exposed in a place their pride cannot protect them from anymore. You did not have to lift a finger. You did not have to send a single text. You did not have to make a single phone call. You simply had to stay soft, while God stayed strategic. If your spirit is already agreeing with what I am saying, I want you to do something small but sacred. Just quietly type the words, "I receive this," in the comments. Not for the algorithm, not for the numbers, but as your first act of agreement with what heaven is doing on your behalf tonight. Because there is power when a wounded soul says yes to being seen. There is power when a tired heart whispers, "I receive this," after months of pretending to be fine. Let that comment be your first exhale in a long time. Now, let me sit with you a little longer, because I know this part of you. I know the part of you that is scared to fully believe this word, because you have been disappointed before, you have hoped before, you have believed for justice before, and then watched the person who hurt you keep laughing, keep prospering on the surface, keep posting, keep smiling in public, keep being celebrated by people who did not know what they did to you behind closed doors. And a piece of you started to wonder if God actually noticed. A piece of you started to wonder if maybe you were the problem for feeling the way you felt. A piece of you started to accept that maybe this was just your portion, to be used, to be drained, to be misunderstood, to be quietly discarded, once you had given everything you had to give. Beloved, that lie ends tonight. That lie ends in this moment. That lie is being uprooted from your inner world as I speak these words, because God did not raise you to be a resource for other people's ambition. God did not anoint you to be someone's stepping stone. God did not put that depth in you so that shallow people could use it as a shortcut to places they were never meant to reach. Hear this carefully. What you thought was betrayal was actually revelation. What you thought was loss was actually protection, wearing a painful mask. What you thought was being left behind was God removing you from a table where the meal was being poisoned in slow motion. The person who used you was not just using your time or your money or your talent. They were trying to attach themselves to your destiny. They saw something on you before you saw it on yourself. They felt the weight of your calling in the room before you understood what you were carrying. And instead of celebrating it, they tried to siphon it. They tried to become close enough to your grace to benefit from it without paying the price of it. And God, in His mercy, allowed you to feel the friction so that you would finally pull back the hand you kept extending to a mouth that only knew how to bite. I want to slow down here because I know some of you are crying right now, and I do not want to rush past your tears. Tears are not weakness in the kingdom of God. Tears are liquid prayer. Tears are the language your soul speaks when your mouth cannot find the words. And every tear you cried in secret over this situation was received in a bottle in heaven. That is not a poetic phrase. That is scriptural reality. David wrote that God keeps our tears in a bottle, that He records them in His book. And I need you to understand that not one of your midnight cries was wasted. Not one of your silent breakdowns in the bathroom went unnoticed. Not one of your long drives home while replaying their words in your head was invisible to your Father. He was there. He was present. He was gathering evidence. And that word, evidence, is important tonight. Because God has been building a case in the unseen while you were trying to build peace in your own heart. You were trying to forgive. You were trying to move on. You were trying to be the bigger person. You were trying to be Christ-like. And in your struggle to release them, you thought God was silent. But heaven was never silent. Heaven was documenting. Heaven was preparing. Heaven was setting the stage for a kind of exposure that does not require you to hold the microphone. And one day ago, the first crack in the foundation of their false story finally appeared. You may not have seen it yet on the surface. You may not have gotten the phone call yet. You may not have heard the whispers yet, but it has already begun. If you are still with me, if your spirit is leaning in, if you feel like this word is speaking to a very specific chapter of your life, I want you to gently press the like button, not as a performance, but as a quiet yes before God. Let your like be the sound of your soul saying, I am here, I am listening, I am receiving. Sometimes the smallest gestures carry the biggest weight in the spirit. And if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I want you to hear me on this. This is not a random channel you found in the middle of the night. This is a place God is using to reach a very specific kind of soul. The ones who have been used, the ones who have been misunderstood, the ones who have been carrying assignments in silence, the ones who feel like they are always the giver and never the receiver. If that is you, subscribe, because more confirmation is coming, and you cannot afford to miss the next word God releases here. Now let me tell you something that might sting a little, but it will heal you if you receive it. Part of what has been hurting you is not just what they did. It is what you allowed yourself to become in order to keep them close. You started shrinking. You started editing yourself. You started laughing at things that were not funny. You started softening truths that needed to be told. You started making excuses for behavior that your younger self would have never tolerated. You started apologizing for things you did not do, just to keep the peace that was never really peace to begin with. And somewhere along the way, you looked in the mirror and did not fully recognize the person staring back. You had shape-shifted so many times to keep them comfortable that you forgot the original design God gave you. That is the grief underneath the grief. That is the wound underneath the wound. Not just that they used you, but that you helped them do it because you were terrified of what it would mean to lose them. But tonight, I want to tell you what it really means to lose them. It means you get you back. It means you get your prayer life back. It means you get your creativity back. It means you get your discernment back, without it being clouded by loyalty to the wrong person. It means you get your sleep back. It means you get your appetite back. It means you get your peace back, the real kind. The kind that does not need to check your phone every 5 minutes to see if they are upset with you. It means you get your voice back. And beloved, your voice is a weapon in the kingdom. Your voice is not just for talking. Your voice is for decreeing. Your voice is for declaring. Your voice is for interceding. And the enemy used that person specifically to try to make you afraid of your own voice, because he knew what would happen the moment you started using it again, in agreement with God. Let me tell you a story that might feel familiar. Think about Hannah for a moment. Hannah was a woman who carried a promise on the inside that no one around her could see. She had a rival in her own home, Peninnah, who provoked her year after year, who used Hannah's pain as a weapon, who mocked what Hannah was still believing God for. And Hannah did not fight back with her mouth. Hannah did not clap back. Hannah did not start a war in the kitchen. Hannah went to the house of the Lord and poured out her soul so intensely that even the priest thought she was drunk. But heaven was not confused. Heaven was recording. And in one visitation, in one encounter, in one moment of divine remembrance, God flipped Hannah's entire story. The one who mocked her disappeared from the narrative. The one who provoked her lost her place in the story. And Hannah, the one who wept in silence, became the mother of a prophet who would anoint kings. That is a picture of what God is doing in your life right now. The people who provoked you are about to lose their place in your story. The people who mocked your waiting are about to be removed from the narrative. The people who used your softness as a punchline in private are about to find out that you were never the joke. You were the prophecy. You were the prayer. You were the one heaven was quietly forming while they were loudly performing. And one day ago, God began to erase names from your future that had no business being written there in the first place. Stay with this, because I know some of you are wrestling with the question, what do I do with the anger I still feel? What do I do with the resentment that sneaks up on me when I least expect it? What do I do with the fantasies of confrontation that play in my head when I am trying to fall asleep? Beloved, God is not going to shame you for those feelings. He is going to shepherd you through them. Anger is not a sin. Anger is information. Anger is telling you that a boundary was crossed, that a value was violated, that something sacred was treated as common. The sin is not in the feeling. The sin is in what we do with it. And God is inviting you tonight to hand him the anger the same way you handed him the tears. Because he can do things with your surrendered anger that your held anger could never accomplish. Held anger builds prisons. Surrendered anger builds altars. I want to pause here and speak to someone specifically. There is a person watching this right now who has been begging God for closure. You have been asking for a conversation, an apology, an explanation, a moment where they finally admit what they did. And God is saying, "My child, I am not going to give you the closure you are asking for, because I am going to give you a better one. The closure you are asking for depends on them. The closure I am giving you does not. The closure you are asking for requires their honesty. The closure I am giving you requires only your willingness to walk forward without it. Because if I let your healing depend on their confession, I would be handing your peace to the very person who broke it. And I love you too much to do that." Do you hear that? Do you feel that? That is not a random sentence. That is a personal word. And if that just landed in the deepest part of you, I want you to do something. Share this video with one other person you know is in a hidden battle. Not to gossip, not to hint. Just to send a piece of confirmation to another soul who has been walking through something similar and thinking they are the only one. Sometimes ministry is not a stage. Sometimes ministry is a text message that says, "I saw this and thought of you." Be that hand of God to someone tonight. Let me deepen this, because there is a layer to your situation that you may not have fully understood. The person who used you was not operating alone. I am not talking about a conspiracy in the natural. I am talking about a spiritual pattern. Assignments do not always come from the mouths of demons in the movies. Sometimes they come dressed in familiar clothes. Sometimes they come with a smile and a hug and a shared history. Sometimes they come through people who genuinely believe they are your friend, but who have unhealed places in them that the enemy uses as leverage. And you, beloved, were being trained by God through this whole situation to recognize the difference between the person and the pattern. The person may or may not repent. The pattern must be broken either way. And what God did one day ago was not just about that individual. It was about breaking the pattern that has been repeating itself in your life for years, sometimes through different faces, but always with the same script. Have you ever noticed how the same wound keeps showing up wearing different names? Have you ever noticed how you keep meeting people who feel new but treat you the same way old people did? Have you ever wondered if there is something wrong with you because you keep attracting the same kind of extraction, the same kind of manipulation, the same kind of subtle disrespect wrapped in nice words? Beloved, there is nothing wrong with you. There is something powerful on you. And powerful things attract counterfeit attachments until you learn how to guard the gate. What God did in the unseen one day ago was not only expose a person, it was expose a pattern. And the exposure of the pattern is the beginning of your true freedom, because once you can see it, you cannot be trapped by it in the same way ever again. This is where it deepens, because I want you to understand that your suffering was not senseless. I know that word, suffering, is heavy. I know some of us try to spiritualize our way around it. We call it a season, we call it a test, we call it a process, and all of that is true, but sometimes we need to just call it what it is. You suffered. You suffered in that friendship. You suffered in that relationship. You suffered in that ministry. You suffered in that workplace. You suffered in that family dynamic. You suffered in that season where you kept giving and giving and giving, and no one noticed how empty you were becoming. And I will not insult your pain by pretending it was a small thing, but I will tell you this: your suffering was not senseless. Your suffering was seed, and what God is doing right now, in the wake of that exposure one day ago, is beginning the harvest of everything that was buried in tears. Do not miss this part, because the enemy wanted your suffering to make you smaller. He wanted it to make you suspicious of everyone. He wanted it to make you cold, guarded, cynical, spiritually withdrawn. He wanted your heart to become a locked room with no windows. But God is doing the opposite. God is using this exposure to help you rebuild your inner house with new architecture. Rooms with doors that lock when they need to. Windows that open only when the air is safe. Foundations that do not shake every time someone raises their voice. You are not becoming hard. You are becoming holy. You are not becoming bitter. You are becoming built, and there is a difference. If you are still with me, I want you to hear me say this plainly. This channel exists for people exactly like you. It exists for the ones who feel too much, who see too much, who carry too much, who have been misunderstood by people who should have known better. It exists for the ones who have been silent for too long, who have been faithful for too long without visible reward, who have been praying in the dark while others were dancing in the light. If that is you, and this word has met you in the place nobody sees, I am asking you to subscribe and turn on the bell. Not as a favor to me, but as a covenant with your own future. Because God is not done speaking. He is going to keep sending confirmation, and you deserve to be in a position where you do not miss it. Now let me speak to the fear that is still sitting in the corner of your heart. The fear that says, what if I forgive them and they hurt me again? What if I let go of this and God does not actually handle it? What if the exposure is not as complete as I hope? What if I look weak by not saying anything? What if people think I got away with something because I did not defend myself? Beloved, listen carefully. Your reputation is not in the hands of the people who lied about you. Your reputation is in the hands of the God who formed you. And any name that God has to defend, He defends with a thoroughness that human tongues cannot match. You do not need to build a case against them. You do not need to gather witnesses. You do not need to send screenshots. You do not need to explain yourself to people who never wanted to understand you in the first place. Your silence, when God is your defender, is not weakness, it is worship. Let me remind you of Jesus. When they accused him falsely, he did not launch a defense campaign. He did not go on a public tour to correct every lie. He did not gather his disciples to strategize a counter-narrative. He stood in silence, because he knew that the Father was recording everything, and that resurrection would be the ultimate rebuttal. Beloved, your resurrection is coming. Your public vindication is coming. The parts of your story that were buried in shame are about to walk out of the tomb wearing new clothes. And the people who thought they had written the final chapter of your life are about to discover that they were only footnotes in a book they never had the authority to close. I want you to whisper something right now, wherever you are. Whisper the words, "My name is safe in God's mouth." Say it again. My name is safe in God's mouth. One more time. My name is safe in God's mouth. Do you feel that shift? Do you feel that weight lifting off your shoulders? That is what happens when we return our reputation to the only one who ever had the right to hold it in the first place. And if that just moved something inside you, hit like on this video as your act of agreement, as your quiet amen, as your way of saying, "Yes, Lord, I release this to you tonight." Now I want to talk to the part of you that has been carrying secret guilt, because there is a strange kind of guilt that comes when someone uses you. Instead of being angry at them, you often turn the anger inward. You start replaying every moment where you should have said something. You start blaming yourself for missing the signs. You start feeling stupid for trusting them. You start hearing an inner voice that says, "How could you not see it? Why did you let it go on so long? What is wrong with you that you kept believing them?" Beloved, I need you to know that voice is not the voice of God. God